curtains drawn, light on lines, your every curve and every shape. No words, not yet, just a glimpse of you to fill our space. A sea of blankets, we know these waters well. The furnace speaks, I'll stay under your spell. These moments, moments with you, those moments, something old and something new. Every little scene, bathing in the sun, in and out of frame, these stories come undone. I'll watch you drink coffee from your thrift store mug, pour over the dailies. This is enough. As time moves on, dust that gathers falls away, dancing through the air, reminding us of every stage. Take my arm, feel the push and pull of every day. This house grows older now, it's too hard to stay. These moments, moments with you, those moments, something old and something new. Every little scene, bathing in the sun, in and out of frame, these stories come undone. I'll watch you drink coffee from your thrift store mug, pour over the dailies. This is enough. I'll watch you drink coffee from your thrift store mug, pour over the dailies. You are enough.
Ellen Doty, welcome back to CKUA's live performance space. It is such a thrill to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us and bringing these fabulous musicians with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thrilled to be here, as always.
And can you introduce us to these monster musicians that are part of your coterie on this session and for this record?
Absolutely. So Devin Hart on the piano and keyboard, and Peter Hendrickson on the drums. We're all actually originally from Calgary, but all now live here in Edmonton.
Oh.
So yay.
How bizarre.
How fun.
I don't even want to pronounce upon any reason for that, to speculate on that topic, being that Alberta is home to CKUA all across the province. I was going to ask you a little bit about some Calgary-Edmonton dynamics as you've made both your home. That's really interesting. I
Very
did not know that
interesting.
about those two. Very accomplished musicians as well. They join you on this album, Every Little Scene, which is just such an incredible piece of work, and congratulations on the release of it. It's just out as we're having this beautiful session in CKUA's live performance space. We just heard the title track. This is very much the core of the band. Of course, you're joined by lots of amazing musicians. We can talk about that in a moment. I find it so interesting, Ellen, that you have this really distinctive instrumentation that you've evolved towards, drums and piano. I mean, both percussion instruments technically, so percussion and voice kind of, and you're joined frequently by a string quartet as well. Very idiosyncratic approach to orchestration, and also I think quite ironic given that your husband is a bass player.
And an excellent one.
One of the best. We featured him recently on Hidden Track, in fact, with one of his projects, Major Love. How did you evolve towards this particular sound and wanting to work with these particular collaborators?
Yeah, actually the sort of minimalist approach started with the last album. So I was actually in the studio with a bigger band originally, voice, piano, drums, bass, horns, like the whole bit. And everyone was incredible, but we were sitting around one night, the three of us that were left, the producers and I, and sort of talking about the music, and it just wasn't feeling quite right. So at almost midnight, as we do, we decided to hop in and just play around a little bit for fun. And I still remember putting on the headphones and getting goosebumps all over when we started to play, just the three of us, just the piano, drums, and me, and really trying to strip everything away as much as we could. And then that sort of built the foundation for this type of sound that we have. And then with this album, the introduction of the strings in a lot of places, adding some different colors and textures than and not always being used in the more traditional sense, which is really neat. So just sort of exploring how we can play with sounds. Murray actually does play with the quartet, making it a quintet for the album on several songs, which is awesome. Just such a beautiful addition to the sound, and plays electric on a couple songs too. So we snuck Murray in there as well.
That's terrific. And in the context that we're hearing you in this session, what is it that this offers you as a vocalist and also as a lyricist, I suppose? What are the opportunities that you get to have just having the sonic space kind of carved up in this way?
I think it just really leaves space for the music to breathe and for the stories to really be heard and be clear. And it was actually really hard at first. Like I've had this tendency to want to add layers and layers on things. I think when I'm recording and, how about this sound? And I can add this thing and do this. But just trying to do the opposite and giving the space for the stories themselves. And I have quite a quiet voice in general, so I think that really leaves the space for my voice as well, and I think suits it really well.
Yeah, and I also think like the subject matter of a lot of these songs, it's sort of an album that's coming from a place that has to do with sort of mindfulness and slowing down and being just really aware of what's going on. There's something about the way that the three of you interact that really brings that to life, I find.
Yeah, I wanted it to feel, sort of like we are now, that it's really intimate, and you're in my living room, and I'm playing some music for you, and it's just this cozy vibe, and I hope that people can feel that coming across in the recording. It was a lot of fun to sort of play with how we could bring that sort of intimate sound out.
There's a lot of interplay going on in very subtle, beautiful ways. The way that the three of you are kind of skittering across each other at times is gorgeous. And the song Every Little Scene really reminds us about how beautiful and magical each moment can be. I think the song conveys that so beautifully. And I have to say, it's such a thrill to watch your journey, Ellen. I mean, one of the great joys of getting to be a fan of an artist is watching them evolve and move through their changes in the years. And I have to say, I'm just so gratified to hear and see all that you're doing now. Congratulations. You know, I know it's been a long and really interesting, very authentic journey for you. And can we wind it all the way back to the beginning of this road? Like, as you say, you're from Southern Alberta, hailing from Okotoks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I grew up in De Winton, Alberta.
Oh, wow.
Shout out
De Winton.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
So
I went to school
Okotoks
in
was the big town.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's great. And obviously from a music-loving family, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. My parents both sing. They sang in the church choir, and my mom plays the organ.
Oh.
So
wow.
I was singing from when, you know, doing solos and stuff from when I was 4 or 5 years old, and then my first performance was my grade 1 talent show.
Oh.
I sang and played the piano. Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King? So cute. In like a matching cat dress with the same hat and dress, which is so cute. And then I auditioned for the Calgary Stampede for the youth talent show when I was 6.
Wow.
And I told my mom I wanted to audition. We saw a commercial and take me down there. I want to go sing and perform. And then I got accepted. So I got to do this, you know, sort of thing when I started really young. So kind of neat. Yeah. Lots of music in the house all the time. People jamming or coming for rehearsal, or lots of musical friends of my folks. So it was a lot of fun.
So how did you, I mean, I know that you would go on to record some Nat King Cole material early in your career. How did you find that jazz was what started to grab you, or was it just kind of in the air?
Yeah, I think from hearing it, you know, around the house and around with my family probably is what really started that. And then sort of in high school, I sang with the jazz band as well. So that was
Which
a lot
high
of
school?
fun. In Okotoks,
Okay.
Holy Trinity Academy.
Shout out Holy Trinity.
HTA.
HTA Pride. Go, whatever the team was called.
Yeah, the Knights.
The Knights.
Yeah, totally.
Go Knights.
Yeah, I played on the basketball team.
Oh, wow.
That was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which
And
position?
volleyball. Shooting guard for
Okay.
basketball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Running the court.
Yeah. Lots of fun. And yeah, that's sort of, I think, how it started. And then in university, actually, I played basketball at Carleton. And then I was in the music program there and majored in vocal jazz.
See, that's really interesting to me because for me, Ottawa is such a great center of music in many ways and so close to Montreal, which is, of course, one of the jazz hotbeds of North America or the world, really. And I find it interesting that you went away, learned to play basketball and sing vocal jazz,
Yeah.
but you brought it back home to Alberta. What was your thinking there, your choice to move back to this part of the world?
I mean, lots of reasons. My family is all here. I've got 3 siblings and my parents. My sister's now in BC, which is sad, but maybe she'll come back at one point. And lots of extended family as well. But it is such a beautiful place. You know, there's nothing like the Alberta skies, the mountains, the, you know, proximity to all those beautiful things. So I feel like everywhere I go, I miss those elements in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and you uprooted yourself from Southern Alberta to where we are now, which Edmonton is your hometown. What was that all about?
For love, of course. Yeah.
For love.
Yeah, for Marie.
LOVE, love.
Exactly. Yeah. We did the medium distance relationship for a while, Calgary to Edmonton, and then decided it was time to be in the same spot.
I mean, you could have settled in Red Deer.
Yeah, it's true. It's halfway in between, neutral ground.
Take me somewhere that I belong. Somewhere that I can be. Stop trying to tell me who I am or who I need to be. Fate shapes are moving into focus for for the first time. I am dreaming in colors that I've never seen before. Mirrors and angled glass. Where is the window that I need? Changing patterns, changing tides. This reflection looks like me. Fate shapes are moving into focus for the first time. I am dreaming in colors that I've never seen. Tumbling in circles, slow it down, slow it down.
I know that you've been a fan of lots of different kinds of music all along the road. It's interesting how people that are oriented toward jazz in some ways sort of tend to get saddled with so much more baggage or at least context than so many other kinds of original music makers. When you teamed up with Murray, did that in any way kind of shape the way that you decided you were going to interpret your own artistic impulse?
I don't think so. I mean, I had sort of started experimenting already, but jazz, I mean, Murray has a jazz degree from McGill.
Right. He's not just the power pop bass god. Yeah.
So
right.
we actually spent a lot of time playing standards at home and stuff, and experimenting, doing a bass voice thing. During COVID, we did tons of playing together, which was awesome. So everything from pop tunes or learning covers or just, experimenting on songs, which was a lot of fun.
Wow.
So we never got that much time together before at home, and we had a lot of fun doing that. So.
Were there any artists in particular or songs or styles that you discovered together during that kind of incubation period?
Actually, we played quite a bit of sort of older soul music.
Oh, wow.
Which is something that I've always loved since I was a kid, but I hadn't really performed it much, just something that we used to listen to. My mom had the organ book, Hits of the 70s. So we used to play lots of, songs out of there, Marvin Gaye and Roberta Flack,
Wow.
and all the cool folks. So
That's so cool. It's interesting because with the song Kaleidoscope, which for me is obviously a standout on this record, it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
There's this sort of gently funky kind of swing to it and some of the other material on this record. And I wondered, where does that song come from for you exactly? Like what inspired you to create that one?
The story of the song, actually, it was my niece, who's now almost 5 years old, was playing with a little kaleidoscope, one of those sort of handheld ones, and didn't know. She knew that she was supposed to see these beautiful colors inside of it. So she was looking, but she was looking in the wrong end and going, ooh, oh, wow. I think pretending that she could see it. But when someone turned it around for her and she looked in the other side, her mind was like, wow, this is wild. This is this tiny thing. And there's all these beautiful colors and shapes. And that was sort of where the idea for the song came from originally. And then I actually co-wrote the music with Audrey Ochoa from Edmonton. We had a session. She came to my basement and we just played around and jammed out. I sort of had the seed idea for the song and a few chord ideas, and then we just took off from there. And she's amazing, so it was such a pleasure to write with her.
Yeah, incredible. And it's interesting how many brilliant people you have collaborating with you on this record, including, I must note, several CKUA chart toppers themselves in their own right, like Audrey. Our current chart topper at CKUA, as we have this conversation, is one Wyatt C. Lewis, your longtime friend and collaborator.
Yeah.
It's so neat to see you with so many different collaborations on this record and bringing out different colors. I mean, not to play on the kaleidoscope theme too much, but it feels like a kind of displacement of one's everyday is a bit of a theme that runs through this one,
Yeah.
I have a particular fondness for the way that the band kind of refracts the rhythmic reality, towards the end of Kaleidoscope. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm really struck too by how this album is like it's the old me and Murray and Baby Makes Three situation, because a lot of people talk about creating a record as if it's like, giving birth to something new. You actually literally did that during the creation of this album. Can you tell us how the baby journey and the album journey kind of were parallel?
Yeah, a lot of the majority of the record was written and recorded. It was entirely recorded while I was pregnant with my little one, who's now 6 months old. His name is Leon. And that was just, shout out Leon. You'll see this when you're older. It was such a special thing to, I think, capture that moment in time and have that as something that will live on for a long time and be something that I can go back and listen to with Leon as well. I think such a special thing to say, hey, you inspired a lot of this music and here it is out in the world now. Really
incredible that was part of the energy that created this album. And was he in the world when this album was, when you putting the finishing touches on it? Yeah, he was a month old when we were mixing. So I was sitting with headphones quietly in the basement to try to listen between feedings and that kind of thing. But there's something special about that too. I think I had such a shift in perspective. I think when he was born, just so much changes and you feel so much, and it was nice to listen to the album with those ears as well. It's almost like this album is meant for people that are going through, challenging or stressful or tiring times, I suspect. Yeah, I think folks that are sort of on the precipice of change or are going through new changes, I see that it hopefully as a comfort during those times. It's almost like this is a gift to yourself from past Ellen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Leon, may I ask who the namesake is, or is that too? Oh yeah, it's not Drysdale. Right, not the distinguished Edmonton Oilers. It is actually my grandpa forward. Doty, the one that grew up in Los Angeles. Oh, wow. He's now passed on, but yeah, Leon, and everyone called him Lon actually as a
as a nickname.
Wow, named after the swing dancing jazz fan in LA. That's so great.
Totally.
Oh my goodness, how beautiful. Well, it's an album that sees you, branching off in all kinds of exciting new ways, and one that you're going to be bringing to people live in the very near future, as we have this conversation in the early summer of 2024. And I'm excited to know what your hopes are. I mean, you've done so many things over the course of your career, from touring across Canada and the world, and Japan, playing the Tokyo Jazz Festival. What are your kind of hopes and dreams at this point, in this interesting moment where both you and Murray are putting out new albums with projects and touring them across Canada?
It's a little different now, because we have to plan very well who is going to take care of the baby and how we do that. But I think it's nice too. We can sort of be selective about the types of performances that we do, and choose things that are really meaningful to us, and probably have some time traveling as a family as well. If I'm performing, Murray and Leon can come along, and vice versa. We'll be able to take Leon to go see Murray. So that's going to be really special. I would really like to get back to Japan again to do some more shows. Where
you're very well loved, in fact.
Yeah, the album's going to come out on Impartment Records in Japan again as well, which is awesome. So that'll be coming soon. And we would like to take Leon there, which would be really neat. I don't know if that's a bad idea to take a tiny child to Japan on a plane, but I think it would be fun.
It's like constantly having jet lag when you're a parent of a young child, so why not actually have jet lag?
Yeah, totally.
That's a great idea. And I mean, I feel like this is such an interesting time and an exciting time for sort of jazz-influenced music as well. I think we're seeing that all over the place. Like this year, Dominique Fils-Aimé won Vocal Jazz Album of the Year for maybe the least sort of trad vocal jazz record in what was a really amazing field. You've got all these artists like Rouge F. Tab and others that are nominally, coming from jazz, but extending their artistry in very personal ways. How do you see that? And are you going to be trying to, submit this for the Jazz Awards? How are you viewing the record that way?
That's a hard question, and something that I have always struggled with a bit is there are these boxes that exist for, things like awards or even festivals and those kinds of things, and where do I fit? But I think tried to let go of that a lot more, which is really nice to have that feeling of, this is just the music that I want to create and make, and whether it's going to fit in jazz or folk or pop or none of them or all of them, that's okay. Yeah. And I think I was always really afraid to do that, especially sort of growing up starting in the more jazz area. Is this jazz enough for the really jazz listeners or not enough? I think you could sort of spend a lot of time trying to think about how that could be, and it's nice to let go of that and just say, this is what it is, and it's a lot of things that I love mashed together, right. Which is great. That still does make a problem for deciding on categories and things like that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think this album is really about letting go, right? So who cares? It's like
it'll go in for one thing, and that'll be great.
And it's an album about leading with your heart, really. I feel like, and it's a kaleidoscope. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a kaleidoscope.
I've been running so hard to keep you, thinking that I have to, I need to. You said it doesn't fit the mold, nothing outside the box gets sold. I've been fighting so hard to keep you, but I can't look at myself this way. I don't sound the same, but you never give me space to explain. It's deafening. The words are finally taking shape, starting to breathe, starting to grow, turn and leave, coming back to me. I'm coming back to me. Hesitant to put my thoughts down. You filtered and changed every now. But there's a me I cannot hide. Exploring the B-side, but I can look at myself this way. I don't sound the same, but you never give me space to explain. It's deafening. The words are finally taking shape. Starting to breathe, starting to grow, turn a new leaf. Coming back to me. I'm coming back to me. The stars burn brighter now. Find myself dancing in the wee hours, learning to listen to me. But I can't look at myself this way. I don't sound the same, but you never give me space to explain. It's deafening. The words are finally taking shape. Starting to breathe, starting to grow, turn a new leaf. Coming back to me. I'm coming back to me.